This is the Khmer Times News. My name is Paolo Bonini, and this is your weekly roundup. Our headlines: road tax enforced nationwide, COVID deaths stop, but Omicron is on the rise, and a tycoon goes to jail over an alleged $7 million swindle. But first, more on our main story. Road taxes are being enforced across the country, and it is now a common sight to see checkpoints and cars being pulled over to the side of the road, if they are not displaying the correct certification. An example is Khmer, where provincial tax officers have reported that the road taxes collected from motorists have been largely a success, with only a small number of people who have failed to pay. The financial benefits are easily measured. In 2021, Khmer Provincial Tax Branch reported a revenue of approximately 3.3 billion real. This is about $821,000, which is a healthy increase from 2020. This is accredited to the efficiency of new tax collection. Here is more on that story. It was in December that Prime Minister Hun Sen declared the end to the tolerance for untaxed vehicles and said that the appropriate measures will be implemented from the start of this year. The Prime Minister called on all owners of untaxed vehicles to pay their tax and even offered a 10% discount if they did get taxed prior to December 31st of last year. That, of course, has now expired, and all are to pay the full fee. According to the statistics of GDCE, quoted by the Khmer Times, in Cambodia there are around 10,000 untaxed vehicles on the road, and as of October 26 last year, only 542 vehicle owners had paid their vehicle taxes. The GDCE confirmed that from July the 1st of this year, vehicles will be subjected to severe crackdowns. The outlook for right-hand drive vehicles is even worse, as they are to be disassembled or destroyed. Phnom Penh Municipal Court yesterday revoked Tycoon Nip's bail and placed him in PJ prison, pending trial for allegedly issuing dud checks for over $7 million to two Taiwanese nationals. According to the court documents, a warrant was issued and he was charged with 2 accounts of fraud. If convicted, he faces at least 3 years in prison. Nip was sued by the 2 Taiwanese businessmen who identified him for allegedly cheating them out of the $7 million in a fraudulent land deal in 2020. According to police investigations, as well as the plaintiff's complaints, the accused has sold land valued at approximately $10 million to the Taiwanese businessman. Here is more on that story. The tycoon's troubles began when he was sued by 2 Taiwanese businessmen identified as Chim Yu Yan and Yao Chin King for alleged theft of over $7 million. Phnom Penh Penal Police Officer Major Bun Kim Heng said the accused was arrested at his home yesterday by Municipal Penal Police in accordance with a court warrant. He went on to say that after his arrest, Nijep was sent to court for questioning before being transferred to the prison. He said that according to police investigation, as well as the plaintiff's complaints, the accused has sold land on the outskirts of the capital, which was worth approximately $10 million. It is also understood that the $7 million was a down payment from the 2 victims, and when the victims demanded their money back, the accused issued 3 checks for the full amount. But when the victims went to cash the checks, they discovered they were worthless. Nijep and his lawyer could not be reached for comment, but it is understood the money has now been returned. COVID is still at large and it remains a real threat, but the outlook is bright. As of Wednesday, there have been no new fatalities reported in Cambodia for 40 straight days, with the death toll remaining at 3,015. The first death was recorded on the 11th of March 2021, a direct result of the careless attitude of 4 Chinese nationals who escaped quarantine in February, which subsequently became known as the February 20 community incident. The event was to change everything and led to the infection of more than 120,000 people and the deaths of 3,015, most of whom had not been vaccinated. However, amid the positive news of no COVID-19 related deaths, the surge of Omicron variant of the coronavirus has caused concern, and the government may be forced to roll back some of its openness that it endorsed in November. Deaths are down, but Omicron is on the rise. More on that story. Existing standard operating procedures such as temperature checks and scanning of the QR code is not being practiced or strictly enforced, the government has said. Omicron has also reportedly hit those who have been fully vaccinated and have received 4 doses of the vaccine, giving added credence to the vicious spread of this virus throughout the country. Public events and gatherings are being scaled down yet again, but there is no ban on these events. And hoteliers as well as restaurateurs are fearful that they may be forced to cut back on such events even further to adhere with any new restrictions laid down by the Ministry of Health. Since December 14, exactly 2 months since the first Omicron case was detected, a total of 2,990 COVID cases have been logged. And of these, 2,380 were classified as Omicron. The rise of Omicron continues unabated. Thai businesses say Cambodian migrant workers make up 21% of the 90,000 migrant workers needed. Business operators have submitted to the Labour Ministry requests for tens of thousands of migrant workers under the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, more commonly known as an MOU, signed with Cambodia, Laos and Myanmar last December. The Labour Ministry has received 1,349 applications from employees so far. Over 70% of the requests are for workers from Myanmar, while 21% are for those for Cambodia, and approximately 7% are from Laos. Here is more on that story. Earlier in the week, the first group of 158 Cambodian workers under the MOU have already been placed in the 7-day quarantine process in Sakao district. The migrant workers are fully vaccinated and have health insurance that covers the COVID-19 treatment. After passing the quarantine process, the workers will be taken to their workplace via a sealed route to ensure safety. The Employment Department will work with provinces where workers clear immigration checkpoints to arrange quarantine facilities. The Employment Department said that they initially approved 220 Cambodian workers to enter the country, but 35 of them are not yet ready to travel to Thailand. The centre in Sakao district has 200 rooms that can take up to 500 people. The service applied to each worker costs 8,500 baht. That's about $260. It includes 3 meals a day and a transfer service from the checkpoint to the centre. All such workers should have received 2 shots of COVID-19 vaccine prior to their departure from Cambodia. For those who have not, they will be vaccinated while staying at the centre. Safety is always the central concern that all else pivots on. Valentine's Day has come and gone, and this year it was a much less colourful event. The tradition of St. Valentine was established in 496. The ancient custom of sending cards, flowers and other gifts originated in the United Kingdom. But the first romantic link with the celebration of St. Valentine's Day is not known until Chaucer's poetry about Valentine's Day itself in the 14th century. But this year, the romantic edge was certainly blunted when the Phnom Penh municipality issued a directive banning students from gathering at schools or public places on Valentine's Day. The governor of Phnom Penh's office announced the restrictions, and in a statement he stated that the ban is aimed at preventing the spread of COVID-19. At the same time, they said that the measure is also meant to protect the good dignity and tradition of the Cambodian nation, as the foreign celebration has usually been associated with promiscuity by teenagers, they say. More on this story. Speaking to a local student called Davy, she informed me she knew of the restrictions but still had a great Valentine's Day.
I heard there was curfews on Valentine's Day. Yes, I go to swimming pool with my boyfriend at the afternoons, and in the night time I go to movie dates. The story is Meet Again, and it was a very nice story, sad and happy. And when I finish the movies, I just go to eat something and go to pub street to see the people. But Valentine's Day for me is very nice day.